chosen one. The veil between heaven and earth just trembled for you. Something eternal has paused its rhythm to focus entirely on your moment. This is not coincidence. This is not noise. This is divine precision. A sacred signal dispatched from the throne of the Almighty, not to the crowd, but directly to your spirit. Heaven has bent low to whisper your name into the winds. The message is not for casual ears. It is a holy transmission that carries the weight of a new season. You have been stirring in your sleep. You have felt the shaking of something unspoken, something rising beneath your circumstances. Now, the silence breaks. Heaven is speaking clearly. There has been a tension building within you, questions that echo louder in quiet rooms, longings that feel almost unbearable. You have been sensing a shift but could not name it. Now it names you. This is your moment of divine interruption. What you could not see before will begin to take shape. What was clouded in fog is now outlined by light. What appeared dormant is preparing to move with speed. The Father is not just shifting time, He is shifting you. He is calling you into alignment with something beyond your understanding. The instructions may be simple, but the impact will be seismic. This is not a time for delayed obedience. What heaven is releasing requires your full attention. The future you have been waiting on is responding to your surrender in this very moment. Listen deeply. God has sent you a direct word. Your steps are about to realign. Your pace is about to accelerate. Your sight is about to sharpen. And every silent prayer, every buried hope, every tired whisper is being gathered into divine motion. Let this word fall into the soil of your spirit like rain on parched land. You are standing at the threshold. Do not move backward. Do not delay. The next step is sacred. You are not standing in an ordinary moment. You are standing on a divine edge where one step forward changes everything. This is not a shift in mood or emotion. This is a shift in your atmosphere. Something invisible is rearranging itself around you. The delay you once mistook as denial was God orchestrating layers beneath the surface. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared in silence. Feel the ground beneath your feet tremble. It is the sound of the old falling away. Every burden that once held you captive is losing its grip. Every locked door is beginning to groan under the pressure of heaven's command. What felt like a lifetime of resistance is about to be undone in a single breath from the Almighty. You have questioned why the battle was so long, why the silence from God lasted so deep into your nights. But what you called delay was actually design. You were being fortified, not forgotten. You were being built for the blessing that would be too heavy for shallow roots. He allowed you to feel hidden because He was securing your foundation in Him alone. Now the stirring you feel is not just emotion, it is revelation. The time of pressing has passed, and the oil is ready to flow. The heavens are not silent anymore. They are roaring with instruction. The still small voice is becoming a trumpet, and its sound is calling you higher. This is your invitation to alignment. The very struggle that drained you will now elevate you. The very pain that silenced you will now speak for you. Heaven is about to reward what you carried in private with a manifestation that will not remain hidden. The divine interruption you feel is not random. It is the arrival of your appointed moment. You have arrived at the place where divine timing meets surrendered obedience. This is not a season for hesitation. It is a season where destiny demands your full attention. The whisper of the Spirit has grown louder. Heaven is not merely watching. Heaven is moving. And every moment you pause in fear delays a blessing that was already set in motion. You have asked for clarity. Now clarity stands before you in the form of instruction. The next step will not be revealed to the comfortable. It will only be seen by those willing to walk by faith into what feels unfamiliar. You must be willing to trust what you cannot trace. Obedience is no longer optional. It is the key that unlocks everything ahead. Every no you heard in the last season, every delay you could not explain, all of it was preparation for this moment. The Spirit of God is no longer whispering. He is commanding, and His command is clear. Move, build, step, speak. Whatever He places in your spirit, release it. Whatever He calls you to, walk into it. The fear that once bound you will not follow you into this next room. The realm of prophecy has opened over you. What was once only seen in dreams will now become visible in daylight. The heavens are not negotiating, they are announcing. You are stepping into fulfillment. You are walking through a door that was not opened by your hand, but by the decree of God. And when you cross through it, the weight of His glory will rest on everything you touch. This is not a time to shrink. This is the moment to rise, not in arrogance but in holy confidence. You are being positioned not for the applause of man, but for the assignment of heaven. And what God has prepared will require all of you. No part of your faith can remain idle. No corner of your heart can remain guarded. The oil is flowing, and your name is being called. Let me show you what the enemy fears most. It is not your strength or even your knowledge. It is your surrender. When you lay everything down before the Lord and say yes without conditions, you become unstoppable. Heaven does not partner with the proud, but with the yielded. And right now, God is searching for those who will say yes, even when the full picture is hidden. You may not see the whole path, but your obedience is the lamp that lights the next step. There are moments when God will ask you to move without clarity, to trust without evidence, to give without guarantee. This is that kind of moment. It is not about logic, it is about alignment. What God is preparing for you cannot be grasped by natural understanding. It must be received in the Spirit. You have been asking when. God is asking if. If you will trust, if you will obey, if you will move, and if your answer is yes, the heavens will respond with acceleration. Suddenly will become your new rhythm. Where there was delay, there will now be movement. Where there was resistance, there will now be release. The power of God will go before you like fire, clearing a path no man can block. Remember, this is not about striving, it is about yielding. You do not need to make the door open, you only need to be ready to walk through it when it does. Your preparation is the proof of your faith. God will not waste it. Every quiet moment of faithfulness, every tear sown in silence, every hidden act of obedience is being counted by heaven. Get ready for the shift. It will not announce itself with noise. It will arrive like a whisper wrapped in power. One moment everything feels still, and the next everything moves at once. That is how heaven works. That is how suddenly feels. And when it comes, you will not question whether it was God. You will know. Deep in your spirit, you will know. And your only response will be to lift your hands and say, "Finally, the time has come." Chosen one, when heaven speaks, everything must respond. The ground beneath your feet, the atmosphere around your life, even the resistance you face must shift. The Word of God is not passive. It is alive, active, sharper than any sword, cutting through confusion and unlocking doors you did not know were sealed. What you are hearing now is not just a message, it is a heavenly decree. It carries authority, it carries weight, and it demands your attention. There have been moments when your spirit stirred, but your mind doubted. You wanted to believe, but the evidence around you seemed too empty. Yet still you listened, still you waited, still you showed up, and heaven took notice. God does not forget faithfulness. He stores it like seed, and when the rain comes, the harvest will break through the soil with undeniable force. This is that rain. This is that moment. The delay you mistook as denial was actually divine timing. The silence you felt was not absence, it was orchestration. While you were wondering if God would answer, He was building the answer to a size you never imagined. He was making sure that what He gives you cannot be explained away by coincidence or chance. This will be a God-sized moment, and when it arrives, it will swallow your questions with awe. You must understand this. The magnitude of the blessing is tied to the weight of your surrender. If you want to carry something heavy, you must be willing to let go of what is light. The next thing God places in your hands requires both hands. You cannot hold on to old fear and still reach for new glory. You must release in order to receive. And when it comes, it will not creep in slowly. It will rush in like a river long held back by a dam. You will feel the shift before you see it. You will sense the break before the breakthrough arrives. Stay sensitive, stay aligned, stay ready. The King is moving, and His movement creates miracles. Let me reveal something the enemy never wanted you to know. Every battle you have faced has been secretly building your authority. Every trial, every tear, every closed door was not wasted. They were chapters in a divine curriculum, training your spirit for the weight of what is coming. God does not allow pain without purpose. What broke you in one season is about to become the very platform that lifts you in the next. The warfare increased because your calling has increased. Hell does not fight what it does not fear. The pressure you felt was not proof of abandonment, but confirmation of assignment. The attacks came because the enemy saw what God had written over your life, and though you could not see it clearly yet, He did. That is why discouragement tried to take root. That is why exhaustion whispered for you to quit. But you did not quit. You stayed. You pressed. You held on. God honors that kind of endurance. Heaven keeps record of faith that stands when everything else falls. And now the heavens are shifting in your favor. The storms that surrounded you are clearing. The fog of confusion is lifting. The sound of chains falling is echoing through the spirit. You are not entering into freedom. Freedom is entering into you. The shackles that held your voice are breaking. The weight that sat on your chest is lifting. This is what deliverance feels like when it is not loud but deep. You do not need another sign. You are the sign. Your very survival is evidence that God is not finished. You were supposed to give up, but you endured. You were supposed to fall apart, but you kept walking. That is the kind of faith heaven moves for. That is the kind of posture God rewards. The next move is already set in motion. All He is waiting on is your agreement. So say yes. Not the kind of yes spoken in fear, but the yes that rises from trust. The kind of yes that unlocks heaven and silences hell. This is your moment. Respond with faith. Walk with fire. Speak with clarity. You are not just surviving. You are becoming, and the heavens are ready to back every step you take. As you take your next step, know this. God is not calling you into something ordinary. He is summoning you into a divine unveiling. You have been hidden not because you were forgotten, but because you were being formed. The silence you felt was not rejection. It was refinement. In secret, heaven was shaping you, stripping away what could not go with you, enlarging your spirit to carry a mantle you have not yet seen. This is why the loneliness felt unbearable. Why certain friendships fell away without explanation. Why places that once felt like home began to feel foreign. You were outgrowing what was never meant to contain your calling. The discomfort you felt was not confusion. It was confirmation that God was preparing you for a stage bigger than your comfort zone. Now the curtain is rising. The lights of heaven are shining down, and the Father is calling your name. What was done in the dark will soon be witnessed in the light. The oil you cultivated in obscurity is about to shine. The prayers whispered through tears are about to become thunder in the spirit realm. You are being positioned for visibility, not for your glory, but for His. Do not shrink back when God puts you on display. You did not choose this. He did. You did not earn this. Grace did. And where grace leads, glory follows. The very places where you were once overlooked will now become the platform of your outpouring. The same voices that questioned you will be silenced by the weight of what you carry. You are not stepping into a spotlight. You are stepping into an assignment, one that carries the fragrance of heaven and the fire of purpose. God is not raising you to impress people. He is raising you to impact nations. This is not the time to play small. This is the time to burn bright. The world does not need more imitation. It needs consecrated voices carrying truth, power, and presence. That is what you are becoming. That is why you were preserved. The weight of your calling has always exceeded your current surroundings. You have felt the tension between where you are and what you carry. That pressure was not meant to crush you. It was designed to stretch you. For what God is about to release through, you cannot fit within familiar borders. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break through. That is why rejection came before revelation. That is why doors closed before new ones appeared. Because God was separating you for something sacred. In the wilderness, you learned how to walk by faith. In silence, you learned how to hear His voice without noise. Now, everything you thought was wasted is being woven into a tapestry of purpose. The delays, the detours, the denials, none of it was random. Each step was a divine stitch preparing you for impact. You are not broken beyond repair. You are broken open for release. What was crushed in you is what heaven will pour out of you. It is time to let go of the weight of the last season. You cannot carry old disappointments into new appointments. You cannot drag past betrayals into present breakthroughs. What is ahead requires both hands. Empty them of bitterness. Empty them of fear. You cannot embrace what is coming while holding tightly to what wounded you. Lift your eyes. Something holy is approaching. The wind has shifted. You can feel it if you are quiet enough. The Spirit is stirring. A door is forming where there once was only a wall. This is not imagination. This is divine manifestation. You are stepping into what heaven wrote about you before time touched your breath. You are not behind. You are right on time. The path may have been winding, but the purpose was never lost. The fire did not destroy you. It purified you. And now, God is about to unveil the refined version of you to a world that thought it had seen your final chapter. They only saw the seed, but now the bloom is coming, and it will not be hidden. Not this time. You are closer than you think. The shift is not coming. It is already here. The evidence may not yet surround you in the physical, but the spirit realm has already moved. Heaven has already signed what earth is about to deliver. Every confirmation you need is already being whispered in your soul. That restlessness you feel is not anxiety. It is spiritual readiness. God is awakening you to recognize the nearness of fulfillment. What once felt out of reach is now brushing against your fingertips. Your surroundings may look unchanged, but your spirit is stirring for a reason. The same way the earth quakes before the mountain breaks open, your life is trembling before the breakthrough. Stay alert. This is not the time to numb yourself with distraction or doubt. This is the hour to lean in, to listen for the quiet instructions of God. Sometimes the loudest miracles begin with the softest commands. Sometimes heaven shifts everything with one word, whispered to a willing heart. You are not waiting on favor. Favor has already found you. It is circling you like a storm about to break. But you must be in position. Favor is not just given, it is stewarded. Will you be ready to receive what you prayed for when it finally arrives? Or will hesitation cause it to pass by while you second-guess the timing? Obedience is your access. Alignment is your doorway. If God says move, do not ask for a second confirmation. Trust the first word. Trust the silence that followed. Heaven does not waste breath. This is the moment that divides those who watched the season from those who walked in it. God is looking for movers, for the ones who will act without full understanding, for the ones who will sow even when they cannot see the soil, for the ones who carry vision when all they see is void. You are that one. You have endured too much to fold now. You have been trusted with too much to retreat here. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, because the chapter that is opening next is written in glory. This is your rising season, not the kind that quietly nudges you forward, but the kind that drags you from obscurity and places you in undeniable favor. You have waited, wept, and warred in silence. But now heaven has made a decree. The tables are turning. The stone the builders rejected is becoming the cornerstone. The one they overlooked is the one God is lifting high. What once seemed insignificant is now the vessel for impact. You have walked through storms that were meant to destroy you, but you emerged refined. Not by accident, but by divine design. There was purpose in the pain and treasure in the trial. The affliction was a furnace, and the silence a classroom. God was not ignoring you. He was instructing you. He was molding your endurance, your discernment, your integrity. What you built when no one was watching is what will sustain you when everyone is looking. Now the shift is visible. The lifting has begun. But hear this clearly. Elevation is not about applause. It is about assignment. With new levels come new weight, and the glory resting on you now requires deeper surrender. Do not chase platforms, chase presence. Do not pursue recognition, pursue obedience. Because what is coming will require you to be anchored not by popularity but by purpose. The doors God is opening will not be fragile. They will not be temporary. They are not here for your ego. They are here for your calling. He is placing you where your voice matters, where your scars speak louder than sermons, where your testimony will tear down strongholds. You are not being promoted because you are perfect. You are being released because you endured and remained faithful, because you still prayed when the heavens were silent. Get ready. You are stepping into divine exposure, not for display but for assignment, not for fame but for influence. This is not the end of your story. This is the unveiling of God's glory through you. Walk boldly. The wind of heaven is behind you, and your time is now. This is your defining moment. Heaven is not whispering. It is roaring with the sound of destiny. You have heard the call, felt the trembling in your soul, and witnessed the unveiling of the season ahead. Now comes the turning point, the sacred invitation to rise beyond inspiration and step fully into divine activation. You were not brought here to feel goosebumps and return unchanged. You were summoned to awaken, to shake off the dust of delay, and to clothe yourself with holy boldness. The trumpet has sounded, and it is time to move. You are not an accident. You are not forgotten. You were hidden for a purpose, and now revealed for an assignment. The glory that has hovered is now ready to rest. The shift you felt was not emotional, it was eternal. Every lesson, every battle, every moment of obscurity was shaping you for this hour. And now, the weight of heaven is about to fall on your shoulders, not as a burden but as an anointing that empowers. You were not chosen to be passive. You were marked to influence, to occupy, to rebuild the ruins with fire in your mouth and oil on your hands. So rise. Rise with unwavering faith. Rise with holy defiance. Rise knowing you carry a sound, a light, and a story that hell cannot silence. Your yes has power. Your obedience carries weight. The gates of the new are open, and God is waiting for your first step. This is not just another chapter. It is the beginning of legacy. The mantle is falling, the heavens are watching, the earth is groaning, and you, chosen one, are the answer wrapped in skin. Let the fire of your calling burn without apology. Let your footsteps echo with the authority of a child of God. And, as you walk forward, miracles will follow. The path may be unfamiliar, but His presence will be undeniable. This is your time, this is your moment. Heaven has spoken, now you must live it.